Good morning and Happy New Year. If you can kindly unmute and just say Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Yeah, Happy New Year. Happy New Year. We thank God for the new year, and we want to welcome each and every one of you for this very important presentation about the Insurance Professionals Act. And I'll request a volunteer to start us off with a prayer. If you can now unmute, if you can now mute, it's to mute, yes. Then could we have a volunteer to start off with a word of prayer? Do you have someone to pray for us? Thank you, Philip.
Yeah, we can pray. Father, we come before you this morning. We are very grateful for another opportunity for the industry professionals to share some highlights about the happenings within the institution. We pray that your wisdom guide us through the session. It's in Jesus' name we pray and believe. Amen.
Thank you, Philip. So we will go straight to the presentation, and this will not be long. We have shared this presentation before. We worked together when it was still a bill, even before it was enacted, and therefore majority of you are already familiar with the Act. So this is more of a refresher training. My name is Bernard Kithinji. By grace of God, the convener for Professional Standards and Legal Affairs 2022 up to 2025, when this Act was enacted.
Kithinji, you're muted, Kithinji.
Oh, sorry. Oh, I'm sorry for that. And I'm trying to put my camera on. It's not really working. So I had just said, by the grace of God, the convener for Legal Affairs and Professional Standards 2022, that is when you elected me, up to 2025, when the Act was put in place. So we are now going through the period of transition. So I'll go straight to the PowerPoint presentation, as I also acknowledge members of or the officials of IAK who are in. I can't see who they are at this point, but I also want to welcome them. We'll acknowledge you as we move on. But in particular, I want to acknowledge members of the Secretariat. I can see Elizabeth is in, our manager for the Secretariat, together with Gideon, who handles the IT matters at IAK. So can you see my the PowerPoint?
Yes, we can see.
Okay. Just 1 moment. Just 1 moment on my end. Kindly let me reshare. Okay. So there we go. Just as I said, this will take a very, very short time so that you can also go back to your engagements. Now, just a brief history of IAK, because history is important. It's always good to know where we are coming from, even as we look to where we are going. That IAK is an old institution, 88 years, is it 78 years from 1948, initially registered as a society by the Registrar of Societies, that is about 24 or so years ago. And then the act was assented by the head of state, 17th of June last year, and thereafter almost immediately enacted by the Parliament of Kenya through Gazette Notice number 5 of 2025, and that was on July 4th specifically last year. Now, what were the main objectives of IAK at formation? One was to bring together its members because these are members with a common interest spread all over Nairobi at the time and later even to other parts of the nation. So that was one of the objectives, to bring like-minded minds together, formulate and maintain high standards of insurance practice. That would be a core objective for any society. Build public confidence in the insurance industry. The word build means that even at the time of its formation, there seems to have been matters relating to confidence, the insuring public. And part of IAK at that time was also to bring back, to build and bring back that public confidence in insurance. Examine and grant certificates and diplomas, and of course a medium of communication with the government, because these are like-minded professionals who have come together, and insurance has a lot also to do with the government. So again, it was up to IAK at the time to liaise with government on matters relating to the insurance profession. It's also important to look at the journey. And I'll just look at the recent journey in the interest of time. That in 2018, this committee was given the mandate by the Council of the Institute to draft the bill. And we embarked on that journey, did a lot of consultations within ourselves, back to you members, and even comparing ourselves and benchmarking with similar professionals in the country and even outside, so that we could then draft a bill that was applicable and that was going to be important and useful to us as members and even to the industry and other stakeholders. And in 2019, because drafting a bill involves several processes, so we also ensured that we followed the due process. We had a legal consultant working with us, and in 2019, therefore, we did the stakeholder engagements. Quite a number of them, I remember, all over the country, College of Insurance, Kisumu, Mombasa, all over, just so that we could get the views about how best to go around the bill. And if you could kindly mute if there is anyone who is okay. So that then in 2020, we presented that draft to the Executive Council. It was deliberated for some time and then introduced to Parliament for discussion. And it went through the readings. You can see there's a period there between 2020 and 2022. So the bill went through the protocols of Parliament and got to the desk of the then head of state, sometimes in June 2022. But then it was declined with various comments. And thereafter, we then embarked on working on those issues that had been raised in 2022 and 2023, so that then we reintroduced it to the National Assembly. And we thank God that it was then assented by the head of state, and we are grateful to him and the government, and enacted by Parliament. So that what we are dealing now is not a bill, it is an act. We have now switched from calling it the Insurance Professionals Bill to the Insurance Professionals Act, because it is now enacted. Now, what are the key highlights of this act? Now, the act itself, members, is a long document, and we'll encourage each and every one of you to just have a look at it. So what I'm sharing with you are just the key highlights, the very, very important parts, but it is also important, and I would urge you to take some time and also interact with it. Now, the objective is captured very well in the document, that is in the act, that this is an act of Parliament to make provision for the establishment of IAK and the Insurance Professionals Examination Board. That is the pure objective of this act, because these two institutions, the insurance, IIK especially, as I've mentioned earlier, existed as a society. The Insurance Professionals Examination Board did not even exist. So the Act has now introduced legally these two institutions, IIK and Insurance Professionals Board. And there's a reason why the two of them have been introduced and separately as corporate bodies. And I'll be walking you through that as we move on. Now, I also want to just request whether our outgoing director has been able to join, Madam Alice, so that she can just say a word as we proceed.
Hi, Bernard, and good morning to everyone. She hasn't joined yet, but she'll be joining. She's finishing up another meeting. I'll alert you once she does. Thank you.
Thank you. Then we just proceed. So what are these two corporate bodies? Who are they? What are they going to do? How are they going to interact with the government, with the members and the industry? So IIK, who are members of IIK? Now the Act is very, very clear about the composition of the membership.
Awesome.
That one is fellows of the Insurance Institute of Kenya and fellows of the Chartered Institute and the CII. And then category 2 is the associates, both for IIK and CII. And it is important for us members, and remember we went through this process as even before the act was enacted, and these are views that came from you as members and even from the industry, because the institute, as we have seen from the beginning, was an affiliate of CII, and our traditions and our learnings have followed that path. So it was only fair then that even as we admit FIK, we also look at.
Do you know his office?
We also look at a history. Our request will mute kindly.
No, we don't pay for academic. Can't pay for.
Yeah, request we mute.
Lakini sasa mkianza kupea watu notice watafanya nini? It is not us. It is the yes, and the industry
Gideon, could you help
regulations.
us
It is not
to-
CSIs or whatever.
Okay, I'll proceed. Members, let's mute. So the membership, yes, as I was saying, are the fellows, FIK, FCII, and the associates, AIK, ACII. But it's also important to note that, and again, these were your views and were taken in by Parliament, that these are not the only two institutions that offer insurance training and examination. We have other institutions across the world, all over the world, perhaps even in the country. So any other institution recognized by the examinations board. So what these other institutions will have to do as per this act is to approach the examinations board so that they can be vetted and accredited if they are then in line with the requirements of similar examinations provided by IIK and the examination board. So the act does not close other institutions. We are aware and we appreciate that we have so many of them who are offering credible insurance training across the world. So there is a window for that. Now, what are the functions of IIK? Remember, we said we have two bodies. We have IIK, we have the Insurance Professionals Examination Board. So what will IIK do? So IIK consists of the members. So the main purpose really is to promote the standards of insurance practice amongst the insurance professionals. That is the members. Registration of CPD points. This is very, very important because registration or licensing is not a one-off. It is continuous because there are so many changes that are going on in our profession, in the market, and even amongst the public. So much as we are beginning somewhere, this is not the end of the road. This is the beginning of the road. that members will be required to constantly update their skills and their knowledge and training, to collaborate with other professional bodies, just get to understand what is happening elsewhere, what is happening to bodies like LSK, to improve the welfare of their members and the profession, what is happening, say, in Uganda, what is happening in Ghana, South Africa, and other places, so that IAK can rise to high premium levels, because when members rise to those levels, even our industry rises, and even the confidence from the public also gets higher. Maintain proper standards of conduct. Of course, this is important, so that we also safeguard the welfare of the profession and the integrity of the profession as well. And to take disciplinary measures should there be any cases of professional misconduct, of course, to promote the welfare and the interests of members, and to provide a medium of exchange of information and knowledge. I just touched about that, and anything else that relates to the interests of the insurance profession and the insurance professionals. So those are the key functions of IAK. Now, how will IAK be administered or managed? Again, this is very clear in the Act that there shall be three arms of administration. One is the Council of the Institute. Two is the Registration of Insurance Professionals Committee. And three, we also have the Disciplinary Committee. I just talked about that. So these are the three arms of the IIK that will be involved in the overall management and administration of IIK. But what are the roles of each and every one of them? So as I mentioned, the council is the one that is overall overseeing the welfare and management of the institute. Now, who will be the members of this council? Now, remember, this is a member-driven institution. So there will be a chairperson. Allow me to correct that. This is a chairperson. Ladies, forgive me for that. So the chairperson will be elected by the members, and we have seen who the members are. So it is also important just to ensure that your membership is updated, so that you can either vie for the office of the chairperson, and so that you also have the mandate to cast your vote. So the chairperson is elective by the members, and they have one term. They have 2 terms. One term renewable ones. That means 2 terms. Then we also have 7 council members, again elected by the members themselves. We have a representation from IRA, as you would expect. This is an act of parliament. So the government, through the CS, also has a stake and a place in the council to represent the interests of the government. So the CS also has an appointee, and that is 1 council member. And then we also have an executive director. This will be an employee of IIK, who also doubles in as the secretary to the council. And this is the office or officer who is responsible for the day-to-day operations of IIK. Their tenure will be 4 years, renewable ones, so that again we don't have an officer staying in for too long, whereas we have members who are also coming in, and they can also serve in this position. And this is the office or officer then who is in charge of even hiring the staff and taking care of the office, because the council really doesn't sit in the office, but we have the office itself running through the executive director. I hope so far so good. We'll take in questions and answers towards the end. So the other committee is the registration committee. And this committee is a committee of the institute. So it is part of the institute. A very, very important and critical committee because this is the committee that will issue practicing certificates every year. And this certificate is in force for the calendar that it is issued. 1st of January, say, expires on 31st of December in the year. So if your certificate is granted, say in November, then it can only run up to December, so that again it is renewed in full for the next year. It is the district committee that will monitor compliance and quality assurance, because remember, this is the office that is responsible for issuing the licenses and practicing certificates. So they need to just ensure that every member has complied before they can issue the license for the year. Also recommend to the council through a prescribed procedure that is in the Act. If there are members who are getting errant, monitor the prescribed standards because there will be standards that will be set. And the process of setting the standards, again, is very, very clear in the Act. You can take time and go through it. The CPDs, the good standing, and these are some of the things that the committee will be looking at every year as you apply and they grant you a practicing certificate. Besides the examination that you did at the point of entry, how well are you doing in terms of improving or developing yourself as an insurance professional? And even in terms of good standing, you may have passed the examinations, you may be very good with CPD points, but also in terms of good standing, how are you carrying yourself in terms of integrity and all that? So this is the committee that will be looking at all those factors before giving you the license. And this is also the committee that approves the qualification that are necessary for registration through a gazette notice. Of course, it is a process starting with the examination board, coming through the council, and now comes to the registration committee, because this is the committee that is responsible for granting the licenses, and therefore they have to gazette. The committee has to gazette all the requirements that you will need before getting your license or practicing certificate the next year. So you will not be ambushed that we had this or the other. No, these things will be very clear from the word go and gazetted, so that you know what you need, so that you can be able to get the certificate in the next year. And of course, there are some grounds for disqualification, and these are standard grounds across the professional industries. One, if you are convicted by a Kenyan court of fraud or dishonesty, that is ground for this committee to disqualify you from qualification. If you are declared bankrupt, and if also you are not mentally doing very well, and this has been certified by a medical practitioner. These are grounds for disqualification, and they are standard. Now, how is the registration committee constituted? Remember, this is a committee of the institute. So all the members are appointed by the council, and then we have representation from the examination board, one member. We have the registrar, who is an employee of the institute, who also serves just like the executive director for the council as the secretary to this committee. And again, just like the ED, has no voting rights on decisions. So this is how the registration committee will be constituted. I hope so far so good. Now, the third arm of the council is the disciplinary committee. And the process, again, is very well spelled out in the Act. Matters that recall for disciplinary action. And because it is an act, the process is very, very transparent, and even the committee itself. It is very well spelled out what can lead to disciplinary action.
Hi, Bernard. Excuse me for a minute. Please,
Yes.
we can give the director a moment. She's in.
Okay,
She says hi, and then we go on. Sorry for that interruption. Thank you.
All right. Yeah. So thank you, Director. Welcome, members. Let's welcome the director to share a word or two, as well as her new year greetings to us. Welcome, Director Alice. Welcome, Madam Director. Okay. And then we'll just allow her to interject as we run through the presentation. So what is the composition of this committee? There is a chairman. Remember, again, this is a committee of the institute. So the chairman is appointed by the council, but the qualification again is that they must be a judge of the High Court. Then within this committee, remember, it is discipline against members. So members also have representation of 2 members, IRA, as you would expect, through 1 nominee. And then the CS has 2 appointees to represent the interests of the public. And one of them is required to be a member of the Institute of Arbitrators. The tenure of members of this committee is 3 years, renewable once, 2 term. And then we have a secretary to this committee who is seconded by the council. So those are the 3 arms of the institute that are now mandated to run the institute. We have IAK, we have the registration committee, we have the disciplinary committee. So the next corporate body that has been created in the Act, and this was not there, is the Insurance Professionals Examination Board. And members, I hope you will note that the first one was a council. This is a board. So its management and operations are slightly different from the council. The council, as you have seen, is more or less member-driven. The board, just like other boards in the country, again have their manner in which they operate. Now, what is the function, or what are the functions of the examination board? So this is the board that will prepare the syllabus and even make rules for insurance professionals. Remember, we said that we appreciate and we know there are also other institutions in the world that are training and examining in insurance. So again, this is the body that is going to recognize and accredit any such qualifying and deserving institutions, both locally and internationally, as the case may be. And then after you have passed the examinations, they will issue you with a certificate, just like any other examination. And this is now the certificate that you are going to take to IAK through the registration committee, so that the registration committee can now also check against their requirements, CPD, good standing, and all that, so that you are then issued with practicing certificates. And I've already mentioned about accrediting of institutions, and this is in liaison with the CS, and of course consults on a regular basis with IAK, because in the background, the board is serving IAK, because this is the board that is producing graduates that will now be admitted by IAK to serve in the market or elsewhere as insurance professionals. So there's a lot of consultation and collaboration between the 2 institutions, and that is why you see even the composition of the board, as we will see, and even the council has representation across the board. Now, what is the composition of the board? 1, is that there shall be a chair and a vice chair appointed by the CS. Their term is 2 years, reappointable. This body has more to do with examinations, and even as a country, we have standards. So there's also representation from the Kenya Institute of Curriculum Development. The CS has 2 nominees from there, IRA, naturally, the Commission for Higher Education, because of what the examination board does, AKI, for the insurance industry, has a seat in the examination board, AIBK, and then IIK also has a nominee, and ITET, more or less the College of Insurance, has also 1 nominee. And then we also have a seat, 1 seat for recognized insurance training institutions. Again, there's a nominee for that. That is up to the institutions now to organize themselves for that seat. And of course, as you'd expect, we have a registrar. Can be a registrar, can be examination secretary, can be executive director, as this board will prefer. And these nominees, and this is in the act, are required to be IIK members, all of them, or demonstrate or have demonstrated that they have an interest in IIK affairs. Very, very important. All these nominees, from the chair to the ones in KICD, to the ones in QUEA, all of them, they are either members of IIK or they have shown an interest in IIK affairs. In short, now, practicing certificates, though I have mentioned about this, yes, I did. Yes, that you will require a certificate from the examination board, and of course approved by the registration committee. Then there is a question of what happens to us, the current qualifiers. How is it going to work out as spelled out in the Act? Again, we are going through the period of transition, and you can see what the Act states, that even as the new council and the new board come in, then they have been given that opportunity to give guidelines on how that is going to work out. So we are outgoing ourselves. We may not be able to give the guidelines at this point, but as the new board and the council come in, then they'll be able to guide us. Though even as we exit, we have already started working on some of these things, and perhaps our director, Madam Alice, if in her wisdom, may give you some of those insights. Good. So that we are now coming to the end of the presentation. Like I said, it's brief. Members, we need to just appreciate that a very heavy responsibility is being placed on our shoulders. And I really urge us not to take it lightly as something else that is just happening and passing in our industry. Our doctors have been given a very heavy mandate, because these are the ones who will treat us when we are unwell. They will perform surgeries, anesthesia. They have been entrusted with their profession in as far as human life and humanity is concerned. The same case for, let's say, even engineers, design and construction, and we are seeing some unfortunate things that are happening. But again, they have been entrusted with that responsibility. Similarly, with the insurance professionals, and we have been praying and we have worked for the implementation and for the enactment of this act, we now have been entrusted with so much relating to the insurance industry. There before, I'm not sure who was giving professional opinions on insurance matters. And even if we were, I think those were more or less business or commercial opinions. We now have been entrusted as insurance professionals to give insurance opinions. You have seen medical opinions, legal opinions. We now have ourselves to give professional opinions and direction and guidance. And even going by the feedback that I have received over this time, is that already there's a lot of public interest in the Act. I get many calls, both from the insurance industry and even from outside, because so much is expected, even in terms of outcome, from ourselves through implementation of this Act. So let us carry ourselves as such, with very high integrity. Let us also understand now that there is a switch amongst ourselves, and you can now stand high and tall as an insurance professional. And just to quote from this letter of Paul to the Church of Corinth, that now it is required that those who have been given a trust must prove faithful. So may we be faithful stewards of our profession, even as so many stakeholders look at us and look upon us. Members, ladies and gentlemen, that marks the end of my presentation. Thank you for being good listeners. I'll request if Director Madam Alice has been able to join, then she can greet us.
Yes, Bernard. Yes, Bernard, Council Bernard, I'm here and I've been here from the beginning. Unfortunately, I am using my phone, and anytime that I want to speak, someone just decides to call me up, and therefore I get disconnected. And therefore, I just want to say a very good morning to our insurance professionals. Can you hear me?
Yes, Director, we can.
Yes, we can.
Yes. We have had very, very important and meaningful insights from our council member, convener Rigo. And since I have listened from the beginning, all I want to ask is every member in the insurance professional fraternity now to move out from the mindset of the IIK that was an association registered at the Sharia House under the companies under the Registrars Act to now professionals registered under an act of parliament, meaning that in whatever you do, you are a public servant. And whatever duties or obligations that are bestowed to a public servant, as an insurance professional, that is what is expected of you. So it's our duty now going forward from the time that you renewed your membership for 2026 to know you have a new honor upon your head, to know you have a new obligation. Every word you utter, every interpretation of the policy that you give to a customer or to a client, bear it at the back of your mind that you can be held accountable under a court of law because you are expected to only speak as a professional, to only speak and interpret the contract which you signed with the policyholder as a meaningful contract. So it is a duty that is bestowing. I have had Bernard giving the analogy of a doctor. The same way a doctor would prescribe a prescription that, and then you take the medicine and get some allergies, and then the doctor is held liable. That is what we have become as insurance professionals. The minute you sell a contract and you don't disclose what is not covered, or you misinterpret whatever that policy covers in order for you to win up a client, just know that you have put a rope under your neck. What the customer will just help you do is to kick the stool below you and help you hang. So it is a call to duty. It is a call to professionalism. It's a call to, before you sign up a client, before you sign up a contract, to think, have I given the best professional opinion? Because like Bernard has said, you will start on the dock on your own. as a professional. The good news about the Act and the good news about the registration of 2026, once the board is in place and once the registrar's office is in place, as has been explained by Bernard, just like you walk into a lawyer's office and you find his practicing certificate on the wall, as you walk to an accountant's office and you find the practicing certificate on the wall. So every other member of IIK now will have a practicing certificate. If you leave employment at the time and which you retire, like Alice has retired or the other person has retired, you can now comfortably open a consultant office where every insurance matter can be brought to you to arbitrate, where insurance contract can be brought to you to give a professional opinion, or whatever other insurance consultancy services you'd want to have. You can also use the title of insurance consultant once you file your certificate with the registrar and once the examination body gives you the okay to do that. So members of the insurance professional, it's for us to note, and I emphasize again, we are now public servants accountable to the people that we serve and accountable for every action that we will take going forward. The other good benefit that this act has brought into place is that we are no longer shy to say whoever we are. We will no longer be shy to stand up among the other professionals. We will be able to sit in the other government bodies, boards, parastatals, because every time parastatal board is being formed, they look at who has a practicing certificate as a lawyer, who has a practicing certificate as a doctor, who has a practicing certificate as an accountant. Now you start to be counted because you have a practicing certificate as an insurance expert or as an insurance professional. So it now removes us from the menu and puts us at the table with the rest of the professionals, and we can stand up to be counted. So let's guard our professionalism with a lot of integrity. Let's try and let everyone know that this is not the insurance person who used to be called upon and you coil in a corner. Now we are working with our heads very high, knowing that we are recognized by this government, and we stand for what we went to school to do. We are best at. So it's a call to every one of you to continuously renew your membership, upskill your profession by joining the webinars and the CPD points that have been lined up by IIK. Put your voice should you want some training to be conducted by IIK, not on general run. We will also include pension training. We will also include life training. We shall also include corporate governance training. So please be on the lookout on the CPD calendar that has been circulated, and let us get involved, all of us. Sometimes, even if your employer is not paying up for you, and you see the charges that IIK is charging is 3,000 and 5,000, and you really want to attain that CPD certificate, sometimes that sacrifice calls for us as professionals to do that. So mine is to add that let's be all active. We are in the process of putting up the rules and regulations as provided for in the last schedule of the Act, which will interpret what the registrar's office is, what the registration will involve, and so many other things. Please read the last bit of the Act, particularly section 52 from A to F. All those rules and regulations will be coming up, and we'll be calling for stakeholders engagement so that you give us ideas of what to include where and what we should do in order to maintain our standards. We have stakeholders in the bank assurance, we have stakeholders in the broking houses, we have stakeholders in the Rosa adjusting, and even investigators. We shall collaborate, all of us, to find our space on how we accommodate each other. So mine is to call for professionals for us to act united, to stand firm and hold each other's hands, and to act as a team to make sure that we entrench the act and we actually live to the call of duty which we have been called upon. Lastly, I am sure each member has received the holding our AGM, and we will be holding our elections. Don't be shy. If you feel that you can sit as a council member and bring a lot of knowledge and a lot of wealth to the council, fortunately or unfortunately, there are only 8 members that are required in that council. But those members can you can be me, whatever position that you want to vie, we can vote from the secretariat team that we will have a very, very transparent elections that will be running through. And we can only hope and trust to God that we will have the best council coming in. And whether the council, including myself, will be back or a new team will be back, we shall celebrate whoever will win in those elections, because we are all candidates, including myself. So let's put our nomination papers and let's beat the deadline and let's read the instructions very, very carefully so that we have a very, very transparent elections that are coming through. So wish you all the best, insurance professionals. Let's be very, very proud of our professionalism. And as the registrar comes, register first so that you have a proper registration number. You'd be proud to be registration number 001 or 002 or 005. So those are the new numbers that will come on board, and that is going to be your unique identifier. So whenever you mention your name, you'll be saying, I'm Alice Muthoni Joroge, ACII number 001. So let's be proud of whatever number that the registrar will allocate to each one of us once the board is constituted. So have a good day, fellow insurance professionals, and let's hold our hands high because the act has enabled us to do that. We have strived for so many years to get this act. We can only be very, very proud of what we have become. So good day. And I don't know who was giving a vote of thanks, whether I just give the vote of thanks. There's somebody who hasn't muted his mic, but it is fine because we are ending. Bernard, over to you. Or
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much, Madam Director, for thank you for
thank you, people.
Are you still there, Madam Director? So I was just appreciating you for those very powerful and very beautiful words as well. Asante sana. And just also once again to appreciate the very good work that you have done and the commitment that you have given to the council and IAK, just being on the front line to ensure that we get to where we are. We are really, really grateful and we appreciate. Perhaps we have some comments. Yes, Madam Director.
Did we have a question and answer session, or everybody was fine with what you presented?
That's where we are now. Question, answer, comments, feedback, encouragement.
Okay.
You know.
Okay. All right. Okay. Okay. I am aligned. Thank you.
Yeah, it's an open floor now, members. Feel free to just comment or ask a question. Yes, we have one.
Hi, Bernard.
Hi.
Are you able to see the questions, or I can read them for you?
I'm not able to see.
Okay, let me just read what has already come in so far. Then you can answer them at once so that we also don't take much time. Is that in order?
It is in order.
Okay. So the first question was from Amos Okinye, and he asks, what happens if a member fails to renew membership within the set deadlines? That's question 1. Then question 2 from Monica Thirima. She asks, to what extent will IIK give professional opinions? And then there's another question from Daniel Misiocha. He says, I'm on advanced stage. I'm on advanced stages, 240 stroke to 90 to clear towards ACII. Does that mean I cannot be a member? Really? We should be given till the end of this year or mid next year to fully be compliant. So that's a concern from Daniel. Then we have Clinton, who asks, what happens if you're not in good standing in 2025? Joseph asked for the calendar, which has been shared. Then there's Johnson Mogweru, who asks, has the Act defined okay, I believe this was meant to be remuneration charges for insurance professionals, e.g., consultation or arbitration. We also have another one from Sandra Odhiambo. How is the Institute adapting its training and certification programs to prepare professionals for emerging risks such as climate change, digital insurance platforms, and cyber security threats? And then we have another one from Maureen Kerubo. She says some members are struggling to pay for subscriptions as well as trainings. Certificate is also expensive for other agents as they rely on commissions. Could you kindly continue reviewing these charges for those who are struggling to manage this? Maybe offer more free trainings for them. And I think Maureen has spoken for many, because I see guys clapping. So I think it's a very important issue that maybe we can address. Then the other one is,
I didn't get that one.
how do we
Elizabeth,
confirm
repeat it, please. Elizabeth, repeat that one that was very common. The one you have said.
Some members
Maureen
are
has spoken for
struggling.
many.
Some members are struggling to pay for the subscriptions as well as trainings. Getting the diploma certificate is also expensive for other agents as they rely on commissions. Could you kindly continue reviewing these charges for those who are struggling to manage this? Maybe offer more free trainings for them. Did you get it, Director? I can proceed?
Yes, I did. Yes,
Okay.
yes, I did.
Then the other one is, how do we confirm we attended the session? We need to have the CPD points. John, I can answer this. We will have the CPD points updated to your member system, and member portal. So just check out maybe by the end of the day. And if you don't see the CPD points reflected, maybe you can give us a call or write to us. But we intend to do that by end of the day today. Sheila, kindly review downwards the training costs for CPD points. Some members are young without a lot of income. It's tough for them to keep up. That's well noted, Sheila. Then there's Deborah Njoroge. Is LOMA recognized? Is this act applicable to insurance agents? What are the core roles recognized by the act? Then there's another one. Will IIK also take into account CPD programs from other insurance bodies? For example, East Africa Re. There's one from Washuka Getahi. Confirm that membership is a requirement only for practicing insurance professionals. It is not necessary for staff in procurement, for example. I think, Bernard, you can take those first, and then there are still some more that are coming in. We can address those later. Thank you.
For order purposes, Bernard, I will take the enumeration one on consultation and arbitration. I will take the professional studies. I will take whether Roma is recognized so that I put in the insurance training from the other bodies. Now you can pick the list. Maybe we mute the people who have not been muted so that we can be able to agree. Bernard, you can go in first.
All right, thank you, Director, and thank you very much, members, for those very, very good and very useful and intelligent questions as well. The first one was from Amos. What happens if a member does not renew? Remember again, just like every other profession, it is important that you renew, because only after you renew your membership and pass through the registration committee can you be given a practicing certificate. And remember again that the practicing certificate is issued for within the calendar year. So naturally, it would mean, or it means then that if you don't renew for that particular year, then you're not given a practicing certificate, which then means that you'll not be eligible to practice as an insurance professional for that year. We had another question. This is from Monica. That's for you, Director, professional opinion. Then Daniel also asked, and he said that he has made progress, very good progress, and congratulations for that, towards attaining ACII, and is just on the last mile. Our advice, Daniel, together with any other member who is on the last mile or who is at a certain stage, is to complete the course, because you have seen what is stipulated in the Act, that for you to be a member, you need to be an ACII, an AIK, an FCII, an FIIK, or be accredited through another training institution. So it would just be good for you to endeavor to just complete and cross that mile, so that you can then be eligible to qualify as an insurance professional. We have a question from Clinton about what happens if you are not in good standing in 2025. Now, the issue of good standing, and remember, members, this is an act which we cannot change at this point. Changing an act or even amending is another very rigorous process. And matters relating to good standing are captured in the Act, in the section where registration is involved. That part of the requirements for you to be licensed and given a practicing certificate, besides the academic qualifications and CPD and all that, is that you also need to be in good standing. Now, what will happen if you're not in good standing? I will not say at this point, because it also depends on the manner and nature of good standing, but that will be upon the registrar and the registration committee to look at and review. But I also want to believe that that the committee and every other committee of the institute will be as fair as possible. Because remember, members, the insurance professionals are now very few in this country, very, very, very few. So it will not be in the interest of the registration committee to lock out any member, unless, of course, the matter is really grave and serious and cannot be salvaged. So I believe the person would get an opportunity and a hearing on that. Johnson asks, how has the Act defined remuneration? That's for you, Director, you said. Sandra, how is IAK adapting to changing needs in the market, climatic change and all that? Now, of course, we are going through a period of transition, but even as we are, there's a lot that is happening within IAK. Because remember, part of the mandate, and again, this is very clear in the Act, is also to promote the insurance profession. And you may not be able to promote the profession if you maintain things, at the same level. So IAK will have to look out, look at the trends in the market, look at the needs of the market, look at the dynamics of the market. Remember, I mentioned that there's also the aspect of benchmarking with similar bodies in the country, similar professional bodies, and even align and have collaboration with other insurance professional bodies outside the country, because we are not saying that our levels are necessarily high. We don't know, but the council will be looking out to what others are doing, as well as listening to the market and to what is happening around us. So IIK is going to do a lot. And remember also, members, is that this is not really a council affair. IIK is member driven. So a lot of this is also going to come from you. And we said that IIK will also be providing a medium of communication, both to the members and even to other institutions. So a lot of what will happen will also come from you as members. Maureen talked about
Perhaps
members.
maybe perhaps I can add something, convener.
Yes, sir.
On to the response. Yes, allow me to just add something on the emerging trend and emerging issues. Insurance Institute is so much focused on capacity building for the members. And this is not the time that, this is not the only time that we've been doing it for a period of time. In every conference that we'll be holding, we always have speakers and experts in the emerging trends, climate change, cybersecurity, and it becomes part of the theme of each of those conferences. We also have various platforms that we've been running, especially for CPDs on webinars and the likes, talking to specialists in this area. And in our line of activities, there are quite a lot that we have been focusing on that aspect of capacity building. But also just to reinforce the aspect that the Institute is agile. The Institute is looking at anything besides those that we've mentioned. We are not limited to cybersecurity, climate change and the likes. We are also exploring any other things that could come in so that the insurance professional is empowered to actually confront and manage all those aspects that are driven by emerging trends. So I just wanted to add that yes, we've been doing it and we'll continue doing it and we'll still continue being agile. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Director. I'm not able to see who is in, but any of the council members present, please feel free to chip in or even respond to these questions. Now we have a question from Maureen. Members struggling to pay fees. Could this be reviewed? Director, you said matters relating to finances you will take, but even as director does that, let us also remember that the funds relating to the institute really are coming from us as members. So let us have that in mind. Even as director, we will respond. How to confirm you have attended, that from John, that have been responded. CPD, how will IIK handle CPD points from other bodies, e.g. East Africa Re? That's a very good question as well. I'm trying to think, and I don't want to think blindly. But again, IIK will be very, very responsive. And I may not say at this point that it's going to happen, it's going to take this direction or the other direction. But I would see that such courses will obviously be useful. And the chances are that IIK, just like I said, is working very collaboratively with other institutions. So as we roll out, these will be some of the things to look at. My open response to that as a council member is that yes, this would be something that will be very, very important to look at. Is membership restricted to insurance professionals, e.g. those working in procurement and other such bodies? Now we have many bodies that are and many professionals in the country. We have accountants, we have supply chain procurement, we have the medical profession, and each of these professionals have their own codes and they have their own institutes where those members are regulated. So for the purposes of regulation, this act refers to those who are registered as insurance professionals. If you're in procurement or in accounting or in medicine, and you're also an insurance professional, then you find yourself getting regulated in both. So the act is strictly for those who are registered as insurance professionals. Yeah, those are the. I saw also we had heard from Washuka. From Washuka, you had raised your hand. Okay, as well as Abednego. Abednego, your hand is up, Musyoki. If you may kindly just air your comments or question. All right, then I'll invite our director to also give a response to the other issues.
Thank you, Bernard. Although even as I respond, you have touched on most of the questions. You appear to have done it better than I did because I didn't copy the question first, so as to be known what I'm referring to. And I'm also glad that Deputy Director is in the house. The last question you have answered touches directly on him. Members of the insurance profession, we also subscribe to the APSEA, and I will allow Deputy Director to explain to people what is APSEA and how it helps us to merge all the professionals into the insurance professional, whether you belong to ISPAC, lawyers, procurement, and the insurance fraternity now, because Deputy Director represents the institute in the APSEA board. So Deputy Director, please, you can help explain how procurement, lawyers, and whatever. I know Bernard has explained halfway, but you can expound on that before I move.
Thank you, Director. Peter Kagia is my name. Thanks for members bringing up this aspect. I am actually representing the Insurance Institute in the Association of Professional Societies in East Africa. This is the umbrella body for all professionals. We have 34 professionals currently registered. This includes medical, LSK, ISPAC, and pharmacists, HRM, and the like. So all professionals are actually that body. One, you can't run as a professional in isolation. So there's a lot of collaboration that comes on board. And in that regard, I think I touched that on, but also just bringing that aspect of other trainings that could qualify as CPDs also. See, in most cases, and even for us, CPD will be actually gazetted. But there is a lot of task to do collaboration, because if we are talking the same thing, if lawyers have a platform where they are discussing insurance professional issues, it's always good to recognize that, so that at least we have some collaboration. This is actually at its infancy stage. It's something that we are pushing on. That is now intra-professional collaboration. But we also have industry-specific collaboration. Let's say a company is running up, or maybe one of the reinsurance, I think an example was given for East Africa Re, running a platform. What comes on in mind is that insurance needs to look at the contents of what is going to be shared. Is it relevant in the insurance professions? So that we don't award CPD for courses that are not relevant to insurance professional development. If maybe Law Society of Kenya is running, or maybe another company or Kenya Re is, for example, is running a program, how relevant the institute will look at the relevance of that course into the professional development for an insurer. So that one is coming on board as such. So that's I'm trying to respond to the intra, that is players of the insurance industry running programs. Those programs must be certified, and the institute must be confident that it will be for the benefit of development of the profession in the insurance professionalism. On to the inter-professional coordination and collaboration, that platform is still at its infancy stage. Probably it will be one of those that will be delivered this year. So that if, let's say, accountants are running a program that is relevant in insurance for accountants, then the insurance who are working the accounting firm also will get the benefit of having those recognized as the CPD. But above all CPD programs for those organizations, those institutions that are set up under Act must be gazetted, including IIK. We will endeavor to have that part of the compliance, and it will be subjected basically to what is referred to as public participation, like any other in Kenya, and ideas will come on board so that we also benchmark with other good looking and professional or societies, so that we be seen to be driving the same agenda. Thank you, and back to the director in case there's anything that I left.
Thank you, Peter. And I believe now our people are very well advised. I began my statements by saying, as professionals, we need to move our mind from the old IIK, which was a society, an association registered under the Registrar of Societies. And I need all of us on board today to move your mind to an act of parliament, meaning what an act of parliament, whatever happens to accountants, whatever happens to lawyers, is the same standard, is the same yardstick that is going to be used to measure insurance professionals. Therefore, on the professional charges, the people who are requesting that we lower them, we consider the people who are agents, having been controlled by an act of parliament, there are standardizations as to what kind of membership fees and subscription fees you can charge. We have tried to match the lowest professional the subscription fee at 10,000, because lawyers pay 15, accountants pay 15, RHRM are paying 10, and procurement are paying 10. And therefore, we have tried to lower to the lowest level. I do not think there is, we benchmarked with all the other professional bodies, and there is no lower fee than 10,000 among all the professional bodies. And you can see that we also belong to APSEA, and therefore we also have to subscribe to the rules of APSEA. And therefore, this is not something that the current council has come up with. It's something that has to be standardized as per the government requirement, as per the act required. The act does not prescribe the fees. It says the council should, but then the standard and has a benchmark with equivalent professional qualifiers like us. And therefore, we would not be able to lower that fees to less than the 10,000 that we are asking for the subscription fee, because the standardization measure from the other professional bodies. Maybe that's all I can say. On the CPD charges, once we do the stakeholders forum, please attend those forums so that we can consider raising higher CPD programs for the webinars. If you are doing a free webinar like today and it is 2 hours, maybe instead of 2 points, we raise them to 5 points. So that we objected to stakeholders forum, and please, we can raise our voices there. We can hear those concerns there when that stakeholders forum will be called upon. What was I supposed to talk about then? Has the act defined the charges, maybe the remuneration charges for consultancy and arbitration? My answer to that is in the making. As we do the rules and regulations, we will have a team working round the clock with the team that is drafting the rules and regulations, and we will come up with the consultation charges and the arbitration charges that the insurance professionals, consultants will be charging. But then that calls for benchmarking of what are the arbitration charges, because they are there from the arbitration society. Consultation charges, we will benchmark with the lawyers and with the accountants, and therefore come up with a middle ground, because we are just beginning. We don't want to be where they are after 15 years. Maybe we can have a lower fee as to where they started. So that is work in progress. Once the council is in place, that should be their beginning point on where to start with the new act. The other question is that, is Roma recognized? Let me put it this way. Once you look at your certificate, those people who have done Roma, those people who have done ASNIV, those people who have done, what is this other one? The one from India, please look at your certificate very well. Down there, it will tell you what is your level of competency. If you see your certificate says that your level of competency is level 4, please understand IIK level of competency of professionalism is level 6. ACII is level 6. And that tells you you have a journey to walk. And I would call to every insurance professional, whoever has not done IIK, whoever has not done ACII, please look at the certificate that has been awarded by the professional body. Are you at level 3? Are you at level 2? Are you at level 4? So if your certificate does not tell you that you are at level 6, then you cannot be equated to an ACII, you cannot be equated to an IIK. If you're at level 4, it means you are equivalent to college COP, and therefore you require to upgrade. However, IIK, as it stands now, and as the council comes into being, will not be responsible for that grading. The body that will be responsible for that grading and for saying whether you are qualified or not qualified is the IPEB board, the Insurance Professionals Examination Board. That is the board that is mandated by the Act to define whether Alice Joroge is qualified with the papers that she has done in Roma, whether she's qualified to be a member or not. With the papers that she has done in ASNIF, whether she's qualified or not. So all those certificates will be subjected to the IPEB board. And IPEB board is mandated under the Act to look at the papers you have done, standardize them, and now pass those papers to IIK and tell IIK, we have looked at these papers, we have looked at the qualifications, and we believe this person can now be registered. However, if you are registered already, we will still subject our papers to the IPEB board once it is formed, and I believe all of us should be able to pass the qualifications. And I hope we are very, very clear that standardization for the people coming on board who are not members by now, or who have not qualified, who have not passed their exams by now, 2026. Going forward, anybody who passes the exams, anybody who does from whichever training institution that you'll come, your papers will be passed to the Insurance Professionals Examination Board. It has nothing to do with IIK. That is an independent body that will look at things independently and then pass over the papers to IIK. I hope people, we are getting the distinction between those two bodies because they are independent and they have two separate boards. In the board of insurance professional body, if you're following Bernard, you saw there is going to be a representation from the brokers. There is going to be a representation from ACI. There is going to be a representation from IIK, just one. The others are government bodies from the curriculum development, from the CSS office, from IRA, and let us read the act properly. So that will have nothing to do with IIK because in that whole board, the vote for IIK is one person. The rest are all independent bodies. So we will have nothing to do with standardization and accreditation and deciding who becomes a member. But that only applies to those who are in school and that those that will be qualifying 2027 or 2026 going forward, as and when the board is formulated by the minister. The mandate to come up with the board does not lie with IIK, does not lie with the members of the professional body, it lies with the minister, the CS Treasury. And we are under his mercy for him to appoint a chairman, for him to appoint the members of that board, and therefore we shall, as and when he moves, is when the board comes into place. However, we have started to probe him so that it doesn't take forever. We have brought it to his attention. I'm sure members, you have seen us on the papers, the current council visiting the minister, going to his office and trying to probe him to appoint someone. So it is a work in progress. And we believe 2026, we shall have both the council because we are running for elections now, and we will have the examination body so that the whole act can now be called to be at full implementation. Is there anything that Monica asked about professional opinion? I want to make a disclaimer here. Please note, it is not IIK that will be giving professional opinion. IIK is only enabling somebody to be registered as an insurance consultant through the registrar's office that is yet to be established. As and when you put your papers and the papers pass through the examination board and the board feels with your qualification you can attain the title insurance consultant, then we can have as many as possible. And just like insurance companies decide, VYK advocates are going to represent us in this matter, or WYZ advocate is going to represent us in this matter. That's the same thing. We will, as IIK, we will only have a list of the consultants who have been registered at the IIK, and we can pass them to the various insurance companies for you to appoint whoever consultant you feel can be able to give you a proper professional opinion. So as much as we will be running the show as IIK, the matter will have to come from the examination board to the IIK Council. And I hope we are clear about it. The more you read the act, the more you tend to understand. The other thing that must happen at the Insurance Professionals Examination Board, every accreditation paper has to pass through Kenyan National Qualification Agency. There is an agency in this country called KNQA. It will come up with a curriculum. It will guide the examination board, but that's not for us IIK to say, because they have their mandate and they will know how to run that. So though the Roma and plus any other qualifying as insurance from India, from Australia, from South Africa, or from wherever will be subjected to Kenya National Qualifications Authority in this country, and they will write to IPEB, and IPEB will write to IIK. So the professional journey is just going to be as good as any other professional body in this country. Bernard, I don't think I had another question that I needed to answer.
Yeah, that is it, Madam Director. But I believe, thank you very much, together with our Deputy Director, Dr. Peter Kagia. I believe we still have some more questions, Elizabeth, or even comments and feedback.
Yes, we do. Let me take them and we can answer them collectively. Okay, so the other question was from Didan Mumo, and he's asking, the Act seems to ignore student members. What options are there for students who are practicing? Agri Shiundu, the charges are quite high for most people. This is a great body, and some of us are in other bodies which are in Act of Parliament, and this is one of the most expensive. Please review the charges to match the economic conditions and inflation. Bernard, you'll note maybe some of these questions have been addressed, so just take note. Share guidelines for good standing. The other one is a comment from Agri. He says this is a great body. Washuka Getahi is asking, will you consider other external and internal trainings to earn CPD points? I believe this has already been addressed earlier on. Then there's another one that says, please clarify who in the insurance industry must have the insurance professional papers. Is it all employees, e.g. accountants, auditors? Are they required to also have insurance certifications? I also believe that this has been addressed, but you can still address it again. It's from Margaret Karaoke of Sanlam. Christine Onyuka, can they introduce Lipa Pole Pole for those struggling to pay membership? This is a good question and comment. It will be addressed. Philip Moracha, some companies offer internal training programs that can be formally recognized and counted towards CPD points. I think this has also been addressed, but you can still address it again. And then there's another one from Billy Andove. Will the body set a minimum salary of insurance employees to insurance employers to help us professionals meet the finances for getting the CPD and renewals? I think Director touched on this similar concern. Then we have another one from Wilberforce saying, kindly highlight the roles and duties that require this IIK professional CPD points. Is it all departments in the insurance industry? I also think that that has already been addressed. There is another one from Caroline Warui. Will the practicing fees be cognizant of whether members are in active employment or retired? ISPAC has subsidized rates for retired members. Thank you, Caroline. I think we also have a lot of benchmarking to do from these other bodies like ISPAC. Then there's another one from Eliud Suo. What's a channel for feedback, especially from the public, in case a professional is to be reported? Then another one from Pauline Gaduri. I second the proposal on subsidized rates for retired members as per ISPAC practice. This will enable the senior captains of the industry to continue contributing to the industry, given their rich wealth of experience. Thank you for that, Pauline. Sylvia Njeri is asking, what's the impact on licensing insurance agents in relation to membership as an insurance professional? Then we have Paul Ngamau. He has 3 questions. How does the Act specifically affect the insurance agent's operations? Number 2, with a practicing certificate, does it negate the need to have the IRA license? And number 3, does in-house trainings within and organized by the company count in CPD points? That's from Paul Ngamau. Then we have another one from Edwin Okero. Is there a curriculum proposal for insurance course in universities, just like other professions like law and medicine? Then we have Sandra Odhiambo. Does IIK provide career guidance or job placement support? And then maybe Sandra, to answer you on that, we normally partner with the regulator and carry out career talks for ongoing students in the Kenyan universities. So maybe that answers you. And we also place adverts for organizations that require us to assist them in such. So you can be regularly visiting our website and look out for these supporting areas. Thank you. Rebecca says for the CPD points, do you get to earn them if you're not yet a member? So that one will be addressed. Then there's another one from James Mukonyi. Thank you for the insightful presentation. I'd like to kindly inquire whether it is possible to consider holding more paid professional online meetings instead of physical one. This approach could help reduce overall expenses while also providing support to members who may be experiencing financial challenges. Yes, I appreciate your consideration of this suggestion. Thank you, James. Our calendar is very inclusive and we take note of this. However, we also are big on ensuring that our professionals have the chance to meet and network. That's why we have the physical programs, but your point is well noted and will be considered. Thank you. Then we have one from Opere. What will be the role of IIK once the papers have been forwarded to them? Can they reject recommendations from IPEB? This will also be addressed. Penina Ndegwa, please consider lowering the cost charged on the IIK annual conference. Okay, then Rina Makindu, it is not clear what core functions will be affected for annual licensing. We need to understand if there are specific insurance rules that will be affected. Then there's one directed to the director from Benson Yutu. Alice Njoroge, so to mean if you're registered to IIK, through LOMA, you have to be subjected to the IPEB regardless. I'm sure the director will address that. And then there's someone who says she's not sure whether she got the answer on LOMA, if it is recognized, so that will also be addressed. On membership, must I have local membership if I have another case example, the CII? Great body, we need more training of this nature. Thank you, Andau, for your compliment. And then Johnson Mushiri, please share the CPD guideline and 2026 calendar, guide on conflict of interest as per the IPA Act. Johnson, we will share the calendar shortly. So that's it for now. Bernard, you can take over. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Elizabeth. Very good questions, very good and intelligent questions as well. We'll share them out. There was a question about what constitutes good standing and what are the guidelines. I'll invite the Deputy Director to respond on that. Okay, what constitutes good standing is that...
Thanks a lot.
Okay, welcome.
Oh. Thanks a lot, and good morning, everyone, once more. Good standing has quite a lot of definition, and it's actually in the Act, it's well defined. So I invite members to have a feel of it. But basically, three things are very key. One, I know when we have the regulation, which will be coming out in a short while for people's participation, and it will enhance it much more. But good standing has three key things. One, financial obligations. Are you a fully paid member for the period? So that's one aspect of it. Two, are you professionally competent to hold that office, that continuous capacity building, and the right CPD points will be very key in that aspect. And then in Kenya, and it's defined also, the aspect of Chapter 6 is very key. That would be also looked at as we look at the good aspect of good standing. But three key things are very key. One, have you meet your financial obligations to be a paid up member? But paid up member who is not competent, who cannot demonstrate that there is a lot of development that has come on board, will not be sufficient enough. So that would then call in aspect of participation in the institute activities. One of them is actually the gauge through the CPD points, which will be, as Director also mentioned earlier, will be gazetted and will be subject to public participation, like any other regulation that comes on board and required in Kenya.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we also have another question from Agri. Who in the insurance industry must have these insurance papers? Really, the obligation of the IAK is to promote the interest and the welfare of the insurance professionals. However, it is not up to IAK to give guidelines on who must have what in the insurance industry. If it is, say, insurance companies, for instance, it is up to those companies to determine what requirements or what standards they need for certain positions. And this also is the same response for, this is Paul Ngamau, who is asking how the licensing is going to be done, and whether this is going to negate then what IRA is doing. It is still the responsibility for IRA to license intermediaries. IIK does not in any way get involved in the licensing of insurance intermediaries, agents and intermediaries. That really is a prerogative of IRA. It is up to IRA, and I know IRA is here, to come up with their own guidelines and their own requirements, which they then publish to the market about what is required for for them as the regulator to be able to license you. If at one point IRA feels that they need certain insurance professional requirements, that really is up to IRA. It's not for IIK to determine that. That responsibility still lies with the regulator of licensing and compliance. The other one that is coming up, and we are really taking this feedback, and this is really beautiful feedback, is about the Lipa Pole Pole. Of course, this is coming out very, very strongly that, the council needs to just go back and look at this issue. So again, this has been noted, and this has been noted very heavily. This comes together with the issue of subsidized rates, especially for those who are retiring. That again has come up, and that is important, I would say, because all of us are going to enter into that phase at one time or another. So again, that we have taken note of. The other question from Eddie Okello is whether IIK is also working to introduce curriculum to the insurance curriculum to the universities. I'll allow and invite director to answer that, because I know we had meetings with the deans of the University of Nairobi sometimes back. Director, if you may just respond on that one.
Thank you, Bernard. I'm sure those people who have done BCom as an option in the university, whether JKUAT or whether Moi or whether Nairobi University, you have 3 options when you get to third year. That is, you either do marketing, you either do finance, and you either do insurance. Some universities have labeled insurance and risk as a core subject. And therefore, what we have done, we have held a lot of meetings as IIK together with the university. And for sure, they will be revising their curriculum. And the people who will be invited to be able to marry the two will be through the IPEB board, which I said as IIK, we do not have control over. But the fact that we are represented in that board, we will carry the views that we have corrected from the various universities. We've been to Meru campus in Meru. We have been to Nairobi University, Kabete. We've been to JKUAT. And therefore, I can assure you we have corrected enough views as to the curriculum that is going to be taught in the university, so that after you do your BCom option, you are not subjected to another 10 papers when you come to College of Insurance. And therefore, we will come up with enough exemptions so that you don't have to repeat the same subjects that you did. Just like in ACII, when you're applying in ACII, you are normally told if you are BCom insurance option, you have 3 exemption subjects. So if College was only giving 2, that's a discussion that is going to be carried at another level through the IPEB board. So thank you for that concern. But rest assured, as this baby runs how to crawl, runs how to walk, we shall address all those concerns. Thank you.
Thank you, Director. Feedback. Do we have a channel for feedback, especially that members of the public can use to hear their concerns, their feedback and comments? Elizabeth, I'll invite you to respond to that one. That's for the Secretariat. Elizabeth?
Hi, Bernard. If there's any concern, you can write to us on IIK secretariat@gmail.com, or you can use our info email, which is info@iik.or.ke. We will type them on the chat so that you can get them correctly. Thank you.
Thank you, Elizabeth. And I also believe that as we roll out, as IIK rolls out to the public, these channels will also be implemented, and because there'll be a lot of interaction again between the institute and even the public. So these channels will become more and more clear and visible, even to the members and the public out there. Then we have a question from Opere. What is the role of IIK? Can IIK reject an application that has been put through the IPEB? Insurance Professionals Examination Board. Director, yes.
The answer is no. Says the papers to us, it means you have been subjected to a full board, you've been subjected to a full council, and therefore you have been found fit to be registered at the IIK.
Thank you, Director. There you go. That your application will be accepted, subject, of course, to meeting the other requirements, good standing and paying the fees and all that. So the other questions we have.
I hope you heard me, Bernard.
Yes.
All right.
Yes, and I hope, and all of us, I think, have heard. Thank you. So the other questions have been consolidated. I believe we have responded to all of them, the ones relating to costs and CPDs. Yes, thank you very much, members. Do we have more, Elizabeth? We still have 20 minutes.
We have one that someone is asking if the same can happen when an AIIK or ACI is now applying to take a degree course, and maybe director will address that. This one is asking, it's Michael who is asking whether guys who already have AIIK or ACII can get credit transfers once they now apply to take a degree course. And then there's another one, Michael Ocheng, asking how does this affect, I think it's the act, how does this act affect consumer protection? And someone has said, kindly address the LOMA issue.
All right. Thank you very much, Mike.
One more, Bernard. Someone is also saying address
the Elizabeth
affected
yes.
with the. So someone is saying, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
There's another one just that came in. Someone is saying address the issue of agents affected with the law, and then will the changes on exemptions at COI for those who took BCom insurance take effect immediately? That's it for now. Thank you.
Perhaps I can respond to the aspect of credit transfer. I think Director mentioned it earlier. One thing that we need to also appreciate is that each and every university has its own governance, very independent and have their governance issues, and they can make decisions as to where they can get credit or not, and the collaboration that comes on board. The University of Nairobi has its own way of evaluation at the point of application. So I think given that each and every university is independent, it should be treated as such. But as the institute and as professionals, what we can do is to lobby and cooperate and see how we can best fit in trying to guide, and probably for the benefit of the members, where we can chip in, because we have a lot of strong collaboration with the various universities. That they one of them actually being the University of Nairobi, and others, and also private universities. So when that comes on board, I think we'll be looking at it as a council. The good thing is that now we have the act that gives us a strength to be on the negotiating table. And as just Director mentioned, we are not in the menu anymore. We are now on the table. So we want to use this platform to see how we can best also help members to get a soft landing when such cases come on board. Thank you.
Thank you. So
Back
that
to Bernard.
Yeah, thank you. We have a question also from Mike. Director, I'll invite you again. How does the Act affect consumer protection?
I'm not sure I understand what Mike is looking at, whether he's at the consumer protection that is launched or rolled out through IRA, or what consumer protection is talking about, the Act protects the policyholder and it also protects you as the professional. Those two things are well defined in the Act. The Act calls for integrity and the Act calls for professionalism. I don't know whether I put it in Kiswahili that kile unauza wewe ndio mjuaji. So for that consumer to consume whatever he's consuming umemuuzia that which you have explained to that person. It's upon you to explain it in a professional manner without sugarcoating for you to win that tender, without misinterpreting the policy. That is what the Act calls for. So for you to be able to explain fully what are the terms and conditions of whatever contract you're selling to a client, you have to be a professional, or you have to understand what you are selling for you to be able to convince the other party to buy it. So the Act is actually protecting the consumer by you as the professional, educating him as to what kind of a contract and policy he's getting into. Should you sell that policy as an agent? Let me repeat that. And as an agent who is not a member of IIK, you are not a member of IIK, but you have the practicing certificate from IRA, and you have gone to a customer and you are explaining a policy to him, policy that affects, allow me to use UAP Old Mutual, for example, but you have happened to missell. Please read the Act specifically. That Act will not come after you, that agent who is licensed by IRA, because you are not a professional. We will not come in, but we will go after AIG because we expect, or we will go after Old Mutual because we expect Old Mutual to have explained that policy to you very properly, because I know agents, you are thoroughly trained by the people you sell their policies. Every week you have a training, and you have financial planners who are thoroughly trained. So we expect that which Old Mutual teaches you on a weekly basis, teaches you on a monthly basis, is what you are taking to the client. So IIK will not come after you because you are not our member. It will go after UAP because of professional misconduct. And the Act is specific that the fine thereabout is 100,000 Kenya shillings. So I hope I'm clear. For the agent who is not our member, but you are licensed by IRA to sell insurance, you are not representing yourself as a professional. You are representing yourself as a representative of the company that which you're selling the policies for. So the Act will not stop you from selling your policies. It will not stop you from conducting your daily business the way you've been conducting it. You will continue as long as you are not a registered member of IIK. We have nothing to do with you. So I hope that is clear now.
Thank you. Thank you, Director. Yes, it is. And just the other thing to point out is that within the Act, in the guidelines, there's a provision for members of under this Act to also have professional indemnity limits, as will be set out in the guidelines, and that further just makes the case stronger for protecting the consumers in case of professional negligence. Do you have any other, Elizabeth? We just come into the tail end now. And members, thank you so much for being patient this far.
Bernard, I think most of them have been addressed. And I think the last one was do insurance agents fall in the category of insurance professionals? I believe that has already been addressed. So that was the last one. And then on Q&A, that was on the chat box. There's Q&A. There's someone who is asking, I have a BCom HR option. Please let me know where I stand. I have solid insurance I think he meant to say 17 years experience.
All right,
Then
thank
someone is also still asking on Loma users. So I think we can address that, and then we close. Thank you.
Bernard, I think because we have limited time, the person asking on the number of years of experience, please read the Act, section number 4. It clearly stipulates who is an insurance professional. How do you become a professional? You become a professional by way of doing insurance exams. You cannot become a lawyer unless you go to school of law. Even if you had gone even if you had done law in campus, unless you do school of law, you cannot become a lawyer. You cannot be an accountant, even if you had BCom finance option in your graduate studies. You have to do CPA. So please, let's understand this. You cannot become a doctor if you have studied up to clinical. You've got to upgrade to the doctor standard. So it is the same professionalism that we are talking about. You become an insurance professional by way of doing insurance professional exams. And I think we can't put it in a better way than that. And there is a question that is being asked all over in the industry, and maybe let me address it here. Are we saying that the lawyers who work in the industry, the procurement officers, the accountants that work in the industry have to do insurance papers? The answer is no. You belong to the insurance professional body. You belong to the professional body under which you qualified to be employed where you are employed. You cannot become a finance manager unless you have CPA. You cannot become a legal officer in any insurance company unless you are LSK. So we will not interfere with your LSK certification. We will not interfere with your procurement certification. We will not interfere with your ISPAC certification simply by the fact that you are in the insurance industry. Please stick to the professional body that made you to get employed to where you are. Then there is another question that is being asked. I am a manager, and therefore there will be a circular to IRA that all managers have to have this qualification. Does it mean that I lose my job? Please note the Act has a limitation period, has a transition period. And that transition period, although in the Act is 1 year, will also be subjected to public hearing. It is up to you people as professionals to say, how many years do you want this to start before the transition takes effect? So it is only that we have not taken time to read the Act, but all the answers to all the questions we are asking here lie in the Act. So it's my call to everyone, please take time. That Act is in our website. Read it. Where you cannot understand, put a question through to where Elizabeth has given you the email address, and we will be able to answer Elizabeth, and then Elizabeth will answer you back. So I think now we are very, very educated Kenyans and are ready to nominate ourselves and to vote for the new council that will implement the Act. Thank you. Over to you, Bernard.
Thank you very much, Director. Was that your closing speech, or do you? We still need your closing speech, but just before you.
No, I am not speaking again, Bernard. You can close now. Thank you.
All right, thank you. So thank you very much, Director. Thank you, Deputy Director. We have council members also who are here. I saw Council Member Michael. If there is any council member, please just say hi. Just unmute and say hi.
Hello, Bernard. You can hear me?
Yes. Yes.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Bernard. Thank you, Director, Deputy Director, and all the EC members on the call. Indeed, this was a great session for us to be able to share knowledge with our members, because the Act is still in its infancy stages in terms of properly understanding it, and for members to belong to the same wavelength when it comes to interpreting this Act. And I thank Convener Legal for convening this particular session. Let's have more of this for purposes of enlightening our members. As you can see, we had a litany of questions, and a lot of them are actually running almost to the same thing. This one question that has been repeated severally about agents and licensing and practicing license. I know Director touched on it, but I just wish to add my voice to it, is that as rightly put by Director, IIK does not license insurance agents, neither does it license insurance brokers, and every player within the insurance ecosystem. IRA, which is the regulator, does that. But for anyone playing in whichever field, whether as an agent, a broker, a loss adjuster, if you want to be recognized as an insurance professional, then you have to conform to the requirements of the Act that you are either an ACII, an IIK, or a fellow member of both IIK or CII. Two, as and when perhaps the regulator will decide that part of the licensing requirement is the practicing certificate or practicing license from IIK, then that will change the entire scope of you getting a license, which means then you will have to be a member or have the requisite qualifications for you to get the practicing license. So for now, agents and brokers and everybody else who is licensed by IRA, you only have to conform to the requirements of licensing, which details are given at the end of, towards the end of every year, like in September, when we all have to apply. That will guide how you are licensed. But as and when IRA decides to include practicing license as part of the licensing requirements, then that will change the entire scope. However, it is good to be ahead of things. For those who can, please embrace upskilling by either going back to college, or if you have not finished your papers, those who have CII level 4 and below, please consider going to finish, or those who have done IIK partly, please consider going back so that when that time comes, then you are not thrown off the business. I pray that we all are able to positively embrace this change. It's not a personal thing, it's an industry thing. We need to be proud about our industry, and we can all agree that currently there is disparate need for us to clean up our industry, not to throw people out of business, but to bring sanity and pride for those of us who are practicing in the industry. That's my comment. Thank you very much for tuning in, and wish you all the best.
Thank you, Council Member Michael. Do you have any other council member briefly so that we close in the next 3 minutes?
Yes, Bernard. Good afternoon, everyone. Do you hear me?
Yes, Jane.
Okay, my name is Jane Onimbo. I'm the council member for member services. Mine is just to congratulate the entire team for the presentations were good, the questions were well answered, articulated, and I just call upon all the members that to do your renewals and to prepare to be able to join the AGM so that you make a difference, all the things that have been talked about during this webinar, so that you be part of them. Thank you very much and have a good afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you, Convener Jane. Do we have any other council member as we wind up?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
So my name is Caroline Ayuro. I'm convener PR. Just to echo the sentiments of my peers, it's been quite a successful and an enlightening session. And I want to just urge all of us who are professionals. This is our act, and its success depends on all of us. It's all our responsibility to ensure that it works. Wishing you all the best, and God bless.
Amen. Thank you. Do you have any other council member, convener?
Yes. This is Francis Mwendo, council member. Mine is just to appreciate the presentation that you've done today. I think it was quite insightful for members, and it's good that now people are coming out to understand the act, and they've been able to ask questions where they needed clarity. What I can encourage fellow members is that now we've made a step and it's been a long journey for us to come where we are at this particular moment. We should support IIK and faithfully ensure that we pay our membership fee, ensure that we renew when it's due, and be proud of this profession, and assist in changing the perception that we have about insurance in this country by being ethical in what we do. And by all that, I believe that collectively, we should be able to see a positive change in the insurance industry. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Council Member Francis. Any other council member? It's now midday. Thank you very much, Director, Deputy Director, members of the council. Thank you so much, members and participants.
Bernard, before you wind up, somebody has just privately SMS'd me. And
Yes.
this question has been asked by so many agents. We have agents who are my age and beyond, without, let me say 50 plus. And you have sold insurance all through your life. And at the age of 60, the question Alice is being asked, or the question directed to me, is that I don't expect 50 and 60 people to go back to College of Insurance and start doing those many papers. My response to all these people, and that's what I've said from the beginning, qualification and who becomes a member is out of the hands of IIK. Immediately the IPEB board is formed. What you need to do as somebody who has practiced insurance for 40, 17, 20 years, make case and your presentation to the IPEB board. The IPEB board will come up with their own new regulations. And I believe their regulations will not say go to school 12 subjects, go to school 13 subjects. It is, I am not preempting, but I would want to think they will want to look at you as a professional in your own standard by the fact that 20 years, 30 years, it is insurance you've been doing. Let them make a judgment by deciding, do we automatically give you membership, or do we subject you to 2 papers and we make you a member? So those of us who are 60 and 70 and are worried they are being pushed out of this industry, please, all is not lost. This act has not locked anyone out. We still have a chance through the Insurance Professionals Examination Board, because they will come up with curriculum, they will come up with a criteria of who becomes a professional. So all is not lost. Let us not get worried that my career is now going to waste, because we still stand a chance. And that will be subjected to public hearing so that you air your views on how you want IPEB to look at your credentials afresh. So I hope I have allayed all the fears of those agents who have asked those questions. Thank you. That person SMS'd me privately, and therefore I couldn't let it just go without that. I'm sorry about that, Bernard. Now, please close the meeting.
Thank you. Thank you, Director. Let us pray. Our Lord and our God, we thank you for the time we have spent together, for the deliberations and discussions that we have had, and even the insights that we have received from one another. Father, we pray that you guide us as we carry out our plans, as we carry out our duties, that you may grant us wisdom and bless the work of our hands and our brains. May your peace go with us. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. May we please unmute and say the grace together.
The grace of our Lord Jesus Christ,
Of our Lord Jesus Christ, and the
love
love of God,
and the fellowship of the Holy Spirit be with us now and forevermore.
Amen. Thank you. Thank you. Have a good day, everyone.
For a good session.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank
Thank you for a
you.
wonderful session.
Bye.
Amen. Good day.
Amen.
Have a good day.
Bye.
Why don't you sack the girl?